Hey guys, so we're back and we're going to go over measure. Okay, so we're starting measure. Very excited. We did define, we're going to start measure. And measure, I divided it in two. Okay, so we're going to look in the process model, a mapping part. Okay, so process mapping part. And then we're going to do the actually using the data to measure. Okay, so think about measuring in two different ways. Okay, first, you want to map and understand what's going on more qualitative way and understand the process steps and what everybody's doing, whether the documents that they're using, the software that they're using, the method that they're using. And another part is to understand the performance, okay, of that y variable that we were talking about. And that's also part of the measure, okay? Understand what is our current performance, how is the variation of the performance, how is different than what it's supposed to be, what is the distribution, what's going on, and we're going to, use some statistics and do some cool stuff with data as well as part of the measure, right? And the process mapping, we're also going to put process model into that and kind of understand how to use this software, okay? So let's dig into that. Measure phase, process mapping, chapter 3 of George book. You can take a look. So process mapping is very important step of my improvement project because some people take for granted and say, oh, I already know the process and how it works, and you don't. Doesn't matter who you are in the organization, you don't know what everybody's doing. Usually these processes have 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 people that are doing its own small little part, and no one knows the whole thing. No one knows exactly what everybody's doing, right? So someone knows, one small part, let's say production planning, and the other one knows sales, and the other one knows scheduling, the other one knows shipping, but no one takes the time to actually stop and look at what everybody's doing. What is the impact of one person is doing to the other person? So that's why it's very important and critical to take time in process mapping to understand in detail what everybody is doing. And you have this kind of swim lane process that we're going to talk about. We want to understand is what is really what's been going on, right? And that's different than what people think that's been going on. Okay, so you're mapping the actual situation now, not what's supposed to be, not what I think it is. It's what actually is happening. Okay, and you encounter many times people say, "Oh, the target is to." No, 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 no. What I want to know is what's actually happening now. What are you doing? Oh, but in 3 months we're going to change. Well, it's not 3 months. That's now. I want to know what you're doing now. So keep it to the current state. Keep it to what actually is being done. Okay, and you're going to start identify a lot of X variables. Remember, we talk a lot about it. We keep going, keep talking about Y variables and X variables. So Y variable is the performance metric that you're talking about. I know that this is a V, but for me it looks like a I. Okay, let's see. So the Y variable is going to be the performance metric that you want to improve: productivity, quality, on time delivery, whatever performance it is. And X variables are the things that impact on that Y variable, right? So my layout, my facility, how I do things, what software I use, what method I use, whatever, right? And then the process mapping, you're understanding how the steps are being done. You're understanding the resource that are being used. You're understanding who is doing what with which software and which way. So you start understanding a lot better those X variables. Okay, so it's very normal again while you're doing process mapping to start with new ideas. Hey, why you do this and why do you do that? You need to hold on a little bit. Okay, write down, put in the parking lot, because you're going to use that in the future. But you don't want to kind of influence the person that you're talking to, right? So first of all, understand x variable, sorry, and that's the mapping part. And when you look at the performance metric of the measure phase, that's when you're looking at the y variable. So focus on the x variables. What are all the things that can impact my performance that I'm going to find out where I'm doing process mapping? Okay, and it's a visual representation, right, of understanding of those waste and process steps and all different resources that I'm using. some reality about process mapping. So first on the left, I have what we think it is, right? So we're gonna talk to someone like the manager. Usually, that's the first thing we do. The project leader say, "Okay, what are the steps?" And then he was gonna say, "Oh, we do this, this, and that, and this." Right? Pretty simple, pretty simple. And then you can draw that, right? These are the steps. Then when you go and actually start interviewing people, you see that, well, actually it is this, right? Instead of four, it is 10. So two and a half times what we thought it was. It was a lot more complicated and a lot of back and forth, a lot of, goes ins and outs and stuff like that. And after that, you actually want to say, okay, this is what I want, right? I want it to be linear. I want it to be simple. I want it to be easy. I want it to be, fail proof. And that's the mindset of the improvement process, right? And kind of the process mapping that happened within it. So go see, map it, talk to the people. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't think you know how things are, right? And that's a good suggestion not only now when some of you are going to be doing capstone projects, but also in the future, whatever improvement projects you're doing in your career. Okay.